from ESPN. It is Rob Ninkovich. Hey, Rob.
What's up, guys? How we doing?
What's going on?
Oh, not much. Not much. You know what? Let me. You know what? I was doing the dishes yesterday, right? And I was putting them in the wrong spot. My wife said, "Those don't go there; they go here." And then I grabbed the sheets out of the dryer, and I balled them up in a ball, and I just threw them in like the laundry basket. And then I got yelled at, like, "Yo, you have to fold those." And then I thought to myself, "I'm going back. I'm going to play football. Like, I'm going back. That's it. I'm gonna go start training right now." But maybe Tom like had a little sample of what what retirement was going to be, and he was like, "No, I'm not doing this. I'm going to go play."
Do you think that's really what it is? I do not for a minute buy that he got home and started making lunches or driving the kids to school.
No,
okay.
No, Greg, that's not it either, because he's not folding towels or doing dishes or making sandwiches. There's people that do that. He's that rich.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I didn't make as much money, so I really have to do all that stuff.
Rob, you're a husband and you're a dad. If you were put in that situation, don't you think that he's putting his wife and kids in a tough spot now?
Well, here's the difference. He doesn't get hit in the head like I was hit in the head. So my whole thing, I retired because, we all know that being hit in the brain is not good for your long-term health. So, for me, it's like, okay, if I kept playing, I'd be drooling on myself at 40. I still might be. I don't know. But
we live with that every day because Wiggy, we hear him. We know that's the after effects.
So when you're in that situation, I think that when you're a linebacker or you're a lineman or you're in a position where you're literally, slowly killing yourself, like, that's a different conversation, right? When you're in a quarterback spot or you're a punter or a kicker and you're not really being hit like a guy like myself or Wiggy, then, it's a little bit different. So I don't think it puts his kids in a bad spot because they don't know anything else. They grew up and they were born into, like, Tom every single year getting ready to play another year away and doing his thing for football their whole lives. So I don't think it really changes what their experience is. On the flip side, the wife usually, is always in a position to support and to, hey, like, I understand this is your passion. This is what you love to do. Whatever you decide, I'll support you. So I don't think that he would have done that unless he had the support of his friends and families. That he really just had the itch. He continues to do it. I'm confused on the timing because I sure as heck wouldn't be coming back for off-season workouts. But, it is what it is.
I mean, how do you think he looks this morning?
I think so here's the only thing that I get concerned with. When guys have everything and they've accomplished more than anyone, but they still can't, like, let it go. At what point does Tom feel satisfied? He's made $300 million. He's got more money than anyone can imagine. He's got more Super Bowls. He's got a beautiful family. So, at what point does it turn into Place Beyond the Pines? I don't know if you've ever seen that movie. It's one of my favorite movies. Go check it out. Or The Town. Like, you get away, you're free, you've done it, you're on your own 2 feet, and then you have that itch to go back one more time, and it gets you. So I hope that doesn't happen.
Well, he says he has unfinished business because they didn't win it last year. Does that mean that if they don't win it this year, that he's going to be in the exact same position next year and the year after and the year after until he wins another one?
Yeah. I mean, basically, and sometimes, like, the expectations and what you put on yourself, you feel like you can accomplish all things. But, in reality, there's only one team at the end of the year that's happy, and the rest have lost. The rest are, mad because they didn't win a Super Bowl. And then on top of it, I think at that age, it would be 45. There's things that happen just that are out of your control. You go to scramble for a first down and you're 45 years old. Like, you might have a calf or, something that happens to you. And then what do you do? If you have an injury, then how do you digest that one? How do you digest an injury? And that was a big thing for me. I thought about, I had an opportunity to play football after I retired. my whole thing was, if I go back there and I pop my Achilles, you know how mad I'll be at myself? If I go out there, I tear my ACL, you know how mad I'd be that I'm having to rehab an ACL and I'm retired? So, you know, I think that's another risk factor. But when you do it, you got to be all in. So when you drive the car 200 miles an hour, you got to be able to handle the consequences.
But shouldn't you also be all in when you make a dramatic retirement announcement? I mean, if there's any question, go ahead.
I mean, my whole me deciding to retire, I had shingles because I was so stressed. Like, it was insane. Like, I had so much stress, and it was so hard for me to make that decision. And then once I realized, like, this is what I need to do, not for myself, but selfishly, I wanted to keep playing, but selflessly, you have to think about my kids and my wife. And like I said, there's a difference between a linebacker and a quarterback. But still, the decision to retire is final. Like, you're not going to go play pickup football like you can a basketball game, or you could go join club something. Football is, when you're done, you'll never put on shoulder pads and a helmet again. That's the hardest decision. Since the Super Bowl, we beat Atlanta in the comeback, I have never put on pads again. That's the hard choice when you retire. That's the hardest decision to make.
Rob, I had said this from day one, and I think every athlete deals with it. When you're a guy like Brady, or you're just an athlete that can still go out there and play at the highest level and be one of the best players at your position, I think it's extremely difficult to walk away from that because you know you'll always have, you know how we always say, I got one more play left in me, and joking around, we know we really don't. But when you're at that level, I think that athletes know that they have more than one play, and I think Brady knew that. And from
why did he retire?
I don't think.
Why did he make the dramatic announcement and retire?
Well, I don't think
he looks silly.
I don't think he ever wanted to retire because I always believed he was going to get that itch. And by him retiring, it was just a matter of time. So
why make that video? That video was edited beautifully.
Right.
That took a long time. Why do that?
But just like Rob talked about fighting with yourself on how stressed you were in this situation when you retired, Brady was probably dealing with those things. That's why what I'm saying, Rob, is I believe not only will he come back and play, but you're going to see this guy play for another couple of years until he can't play no more, because he'll always have that desire to put that shoulder pads on, and especially when he knows he could do it at the highest level.
Yeah, you know, again, I think that the retirement sometimes in an emotional time, especially when you lose a playoff game, you might be beat up. And I said this when I talked about him retiring, and everyone said I was nuts that he would even retire or contemplate it. I said in certain instances, a certain season or a certain injury really pushes you towards retirement, the thought of retirement. So you have had years, I'm sure, Wiggy, you had 1 year where you felt so terrible, you're like, I don't know if I can keep doing this. I don't know if I want to put myself through this. And then you might have another year where you're like, I feel great. I had no injuries. I felt awesome. I could probably do this 3 more years. So it's individual seasons can have an effect on your mental ability to say, yeah, I could play forever. And then Tom, you know, probably had a tough year, or he didn't feel great. You had the AB crap that went on at the end of the season. So, you know, he probably said to himself, why? I've done everything. I've accomplished everything. I can go out here. I can go out on my own 2 feet. I can do what I want. I've made enough money. I have a beautiful family. Okay, I'm ready to do it. And then you feel better. Your body feels good. You see your stats. You see everyone that's talking about, well, he can still do it at a high level. I'm sure he had phone calls from Bruce Arians, who is praying every night that Tom came back because they have no options at quarterback. So it got in his head, and he said, you know what? I'm doing it. Because we all know Tom, he's a hard head, and he's going to be competitive, and he's competitive at everything. And then on the flip side of it, the business side. I mean, he'll probably come out with an NFT of himself coming, like the comeback or something. So there's always a business aspect of it too, or a T-shirt that says, I'll never stop. So it is what it is. But at the same time, I think I can understand his thought process on retirement, and I understand his thought process on wanting to come back, because the year that I was out, I was 32 years old when I retired. I could have played another year or two, but I didn't want to risk. The risk and the reward wasn't there. If you would have offered me $10 million, I would have played at 33. If I was making 1.5, it ain't worth it. You know, my backup was, a backup player was making more than me. So why would I go kill myself? Tom's going to go make what, 40 million this year. So the risk and the reward's there.
Can we compare him to Brett Favre yet, or not yet? Yes.
No, not yet. Not yet. Not yet. If he does another one, then we'll say, okay, this is 2.0.
All right. Rob Ninkovich, great to talk to you. Thanks for joining us. Get back to folding the laundry if you could. I don't want you to have any issues.
Yeah, I got to do it. The hardest sheet to fold is the fitted sheet.
Yes.
I have no idea how to fold that one. No clue.
Yeah,
I just ball it up, throw it in the linen closet. That's it.
You take the thing, do what I do. Just take the thing right out of the dryer, throw it right on the bed.
That's what I do
as well. That's it. I wouldn't worry about it. It doesn't need to be folded. Throw it right on there. You're just going to sleep on it and sweat on it later. What's the big deal?
And Rob, if Greg invites you over to his place in the seaport, bring binoculars because you can barely see the TV. It's like 15 inches big.
Listen, I saw the post. The TV's decent size. I saw the TV.
Thank you.
It was like an illusion. I'm on Greg's side on this one, but I don't want to go to the seaport. I want to go on the PJ to like some golf tournament. I saw where he was at recently. I want to go with him to Florida.
You're welcome to join us.
I keep talking about Florida. I want to go to Florida. It's snowing. It's cold here. Get me out of here.
Well,
get him to Florida, man.
Curtis said it's going to be 70 on Friday, so we may be out of the woods. I think we're out of the woods.
Oh, all right. Great. Yeah, all the ticks will come out now. Yeah.
All right, there's Rob Ninkovich on the Harbor One Hotline.